Hello everybody, my name is Megan and let's try this again, shall we? So it's been a hot second. I think my last video was the New York vlog. I've filmed some of this since then, just not got around to editing them, and now they're just not timely. They just don't make sense. So let's try again. It is currently the end of May. You know what that means? It is time for June TBR. My life, it's been a bit crazy. I no longer live in the same place that I used to. After New York, I immediately started a process of transferring my job. I'm now in London, which is where I wanted to be, but that did have a very stressful move attached to it, and then I was living here by myself for a while, and it was all a lot. But it's fine now. I'm living here, living with friends, settled in at work, been to the theatre a few times, like having a good time. So it's time to try and get back on it. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, how are you doing? How's everything been? You good? Good, I'm glad. All right, let's do the TBR then, shall we? So as a person, I sort of suck at TBRs. I will set them and then ignore them. And I don't want to do anything sort of too like intense. I don't want to create a game and then just ignore it and I've put all this effort in and just not bothered. When I've played other people's TBR games, I've like completed the TBRs but then sort of been so done by the end of the month with it that I've not even sort of reflected back on like, what have I accomplished? Like, did I complete it? Like, what do I do with that? But thank you to Chloe and Maddie for playing the games for me. I appreciate it. Jem also. But yeah, I like never did anything with it. So I have these little Illumicrate prompt cards. I'm gonna pick sort of between 5 and 10, however many I feel like picking as I see what books I get. However daunting the TBR is looking. There'll be no sort of punishments, no rewards. It's just sort of a fun little thing for me to try and narrow down. This is all of my unread books apart from these 2 shelves here which are read, and I want to narrow it down just a tad, try and get a few more of them read. So yeah, let's get the prompts out and dive in. Don't think I'm taking part in any readathons in June. There is some like book club stuff that I want to be reading, but we'll see if we can fit those into the TBR. So there's By the Angel Along, which I'm currently participating in with Becca and Lisa. Catherine was doing it before, but she's fallen a little bit behind now, so I sort of stepped in because it was where I was up to with Cassandra Clare. So there's the Red Scrolls of Magic I'm trying to fit in this month. The live show's on the 8th. The Catch Up Book Club is doing Joe Abercrombie. That'll be the last Argument of Kings. I think that's the June-July book. Could be the May-June book. Unclear. I'm reading Before They Are Hanged currently, so buddy reading that with Lisa from Lisa Does Life. So if she wants to read it next month, hopefully we can squeeze it in next month, because I have a feeling I'm going to want to know how the trilogy wraps up. And then part of Becca and the Books' Patreon there is a fantasy romance book club. I'm up to the 3rd book in that, and I am very intrigued to see where the series continues. And it's a shorter one, so we don't have 2 months for this one, so I need to read it this month. I can't remember what it's called, but we'll see if I can fit it into the TBR. So let's get going with the prompts. First one is a book with a 1-word title. I have the perfect pick for this. We have Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, which is 1 word. This is about, it's like a literary, thrillery kind of mystery about a woman whose friend chokes in front of her and she steals her manuscript, and there is an extra layer to it because her friend is Chinese American and the woman is not, and publishes under a racially ambiguous name and tries to sort of capitalise on that ambiguity to make it sound like she has more of a reason to be telling the story. I don't know, I'm very interested to read it. I've been wanting to read it for ages. It came out recently. I got the I got the Waterstones edition, and I went to a signing and got it signed. And yeah, excited to jump into this one, and glad that I could fit it on the TBR because I did forget that I wanted to read it. So thank you, prompt cards. Oh, you know, these work as fun little bookmarks as well. Interesting. The next one, I don't know why I'm shuffling them. They're all like random. We have a book with natural elements on the cover. I have been in a very romance heavy mood recently. I apologise if you can hear the train. And I want to read Weather Girl by Rachel and Solomon because I've recently purchased the Afterlight Illumicrate Rachel and Solomon set because I loved The X Talk and I love her YA contemporary romances, the most recent 3. I'm like massive fan, but I haven't read this one yet and I'm so excited for Business or Pleasure, but I feel like I can't be too excited about it until I've actually read this. And I think rain definitely counts as a natural element. That's what I'm going with. There's like puddles and I'm stretching it, and I can because there are no rules here. So that's 2 and none of them are book club books. It's going really well for me. The next one is the newest book on your TBR. Interesting. This is technically not the newest because it arrived while I was away and I picked up some books while I went home for the weekend, but I guess it technically actually did arrive most recently. I'm glad it counts. It is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is the newest Fairy Loot YA book. I've read Rebecca Ross before and really enjoyed her. A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless, the cadence. I can't remember what the series is called, but it's a duology that Illumicrate did and I really loved it. And then I read Dreams Lie Beneath and I really enjoyed that. And then we have this one, which is 2 rivals, 2 stories, 2 hearts, 1 fate. What does that mean? I know it's about like rival journalists who are then sent into a war zone and it's like a magical war, but they have like typewriters and shit, like they're not sort of in the modern world. I haven't explained what Weather Girl is about, have I? Let's go back and quickly do that. It's an adult romance about like a weather girl, a TV meteorologist and a sports reporter, and I think it's like the film set it up on Netflix. It's like they want their bosses who are divorced to get back together, and in trying to accommodate for that end up falling in love. I think it sounds great, and I think that's what it's about. And then back to Divine Rivals. This is about two journalists who are both going for the same job. One of them has a brother who is in the war and he's not getting her letters, he's gone missing, and they both end up in the action. I think corresponding about it, I don't know, and in the process I think fall in love. And the second book has been announced. I don't know how many are going to be in the series, but I am very excited to dive into it. And this is a stunning, like a very, very pretty edition of them. I'm a fan and I'm excited. So that's 3 books down. We have a science fiction book. Interesting. I have just the book, Second Foundation by Isaac Asimov. I've recently got it out on the library on audio. I don't own it. I don't own any of the Foundation books. I want to because I really enjoyed the first 2, but I'm waiting until I fall in love with the cover because they're all just kind of bleh, but it's fine. I'll get there eventually. But yeah, this is a sci-fi book in which an empire is collapsing and someone many years ago foresaw this collapse and put steps in place to prevent the repercussions being too severe, and it's just seeing that play out in real time throughout the collapse, and I don't really know where it's going, and I'm excited to see the women have more of a role. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that, because there was not a single woman in the first book, and that was a choice for sure, but it was really good. Like the writing, the politics, it was all intriguing. I had a good time, and then I got to the end of it and I was like, there was not a woman mentioned, which was wild. It was a wild choice to make. Okay, and now the next one, we have a book in a format you wouldn't usually read. I read so many. There's not like a format that I don't really gravitate towards. I don't read much manga and I don't read many graphic novels, but I don't have any really. Haven't already read. Oh, A Demon in the Wood by Leigh Bardugo, which is a Gristverse graphic novel about the Darkling. The Darkling's origin story comes to life in this exquisitely illustrated prequel to Shadow and Bone. Yeah, it is a graphic novel. It is a format I don't usually read, and I bought it half price a while back and have not picked it up, so it should be a nice, quick, easy win. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should I do 2 more? I feel like 7 a fun number. I don't know. I've not got any of the book club reads in though. What's this one? A book that has been adapted into a movie or TV show. I am really going to stretch this one and say I'm going to read The Red Scrolls of Magic for this, because Shadowhunters is a TV show and it's got Magnus and Alec in it, and it was also a film that they were also in, but they had way more going on in the TV show. So The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in a new series, not new series, but in a separate series from the original Mortal Instruments in the Shadowhunter Chronicles world that follows Magnus and Alec post the Mortal Instruments, but I think pre or mid the Dark Artifices. I'm not really sure of the chronology, and they're finding some magic books, I think. That's all I really know, and I feel like I'm gonna have a good time, you know? Like I do love Magnus and Alec, and this has just fallen. So I will just pick it. So it's a book by an author of colour, and this is my last one. I'm gonna go with By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. This is a romance about a woman who works in publishing who finds out that one of their like high profile authors is like behind on a deadline and decides to go like encourage him to finish his book, and then yeah, it goes from there. So author of colour, characters of colour, fulfills the brief, I want to say. So yeah, that is my stack, and there are 2 like ebook audiobook situations happening. Let's have a look. We have Yellowface for a book with 1 word, Divine Rivals for your newest book, The Demon in the Wood for what, a book that you don't, in a format you don't normally read, By the Book by an author of colour. Weather Girl, Natural Elements, yeah, stretch that one. TV show or movie, we've got what have we got? The Red Scrolls of Magic. And a science fiction book, we have Second Foundation. And also we have The Last Argument of Kings, probably, by Joe Abercrombie, which is the 3rd book in the First Law trilogy, which is a epic grimdark fantasy book about a ragtag group of people who are all going on separate journeys. It's very character focused, very politics heavy, very slow moving, and like nothing really happens in the first book, so I don't really want to say anything about it, but yeah. And then what else? Blood Sanctuary by Vila Roth, which is book 3 part 1 in the Blood Gift series, which is about Cassia, who is the bastard daughter of the king, and during a peace treaty summit between the Hesperans and the humans, Hesperans are like low-key chilled vampires, wants to communicate with them because this is the first time that they've been invited to a peace treaty summit in centuries, and she has questions for them. So meets Leo, who is the youngest member of the ambassador team, and the first book is told in like a series of conversations that they have so every night, where they just get to know each other, find out more about their cultures, fall in love maybe, you know, and things are getting just more and more intense, and I'm excited to carry on with the series and see where it goes. So yeah, pretty fun group of books, nice mix of romance and books I'm really excited about. Like I feel like I could seriously accomplish this and not feel like I've like put too much pressure on myself to do so, so like love that for me. So yeah, this has been fun. I hope that I get this out to you in a reasonable time frame, like fingers crossed. But yeah, let me know what you're reading in the comments if you've got any fun plans, and I will see you hopefully in another video coming soon. Oh, and if you want to like, comment, subscribe, you know, like the basics.